On this adventure by car, we get behind the wheel and take an odyssey through central and northern British Columbia, home to moose, grizzly and black bear, natural hot springs, ancient totems, legendary fishing, glaciers, the northern lights, First Nations culture, and fur trade history. On this detour, we explore some hidden gems that are off the main road. Today, we begin in Vanderhoof and travel along Highway 16 to Highway 27. Our first stop, Fort St. James. Fort St. James is a small community in northern BC built around the National Historic Site of the Hudson's Bay Company Post. Bob Grill, site manager of Fort St. James National Historic Site.
Fort St. James was established in 1806 by the Northwest Company, and it was here primarily because of the water routes. So the water routes were the highways then. It's the largest group of original wooden buildings representing the fur trade in Canada. So it's unique that way, and then the architecture tells the story of the people who lived here.
Lisa Shepherd, Métis artisan and dancer.
Fort St. James is an incredible venue. To look around and see the buildings, it's so evident that a lot of care and a lot of love has gone into preserving this place. And when people come here, I think they just feel that.
When you come to Fort St. James National Historic Site, you go out on site, and in each building is a costumed interpreter. And those interpreters all talk about the history of the site.
Karen Rutledge is a historian with Parks Canada.
The site had for a long time done quite a good job of incorporating the Carrier First Nation story, but if you think of the story as just being one of Euro-Canadian newcomers and local First Nations, you really miss a huge part of what was going on there. There were so many Métis people who worked at Fort St. James in its history as a fur trade fort.
The Métis people emerged as a distinct nation in North America during the late 1700s. The Métis have their own culture, traditions, and language and are integral to the rich diversity of BC. Our second detour takes us to Stuart Lake, approximately 35 kilometers from Fort St. James. It's the 8th largest lake in BC. 66 kilometers long and 10 kilometers wide, Stuart Lake is 40 minutes from Vanderhoof, just outside of Fort St. James, and was named after John Stuart, a Scottish-born explorer and part of the force behind the Hudson's Bay Company. Here, there are really only 3 seasons. The first 6 months are a mashup of both spring and summer, and in the last 6 months of the year, the lake is covered in ice. No matter the time of year, the lake continues to attract residents and visitors with an abundance of sports fishing, catching rainbow and lake trout, kokanee, and mountain whitefish. Stuart Lake is not only known for its fishing, it's also one of the oldest non-native settlements in BC, comprising nearly 300 kilometers of waterway featuring a chain of lakes, streams, and rivers, accommodating one of the largest sockeye salmon runs in the world. Together, these lakes provide some of the most rugged and remote wilderness in BC. One interesting site off the lakeshore is the 21 different petroglyphs created by the First Nations people. Petroglyphs are made by carving away at the outer surface of rock, exposing the lighter rock underneath. The petroglyphs here in the Stuart Lake region are thought to depict vision quests, hunting, or seeking the help of spirits. We can see carvings that depict cattle, caribou, tribes, fire, and what appears to be an attempt to depict the concept of time. Some theorize the petroglyphs may have been a way of transmitting information, while others suggest religious or ceremonial purposes. The images are not the only thing that has the researchers curious. The decision on where to carve them has also been up for debate. Most historians believe that petroglyph placement was intentional and has just as much purpose and meaning as the images themselves. Just another example of the wonders, wildlife, and ancient history that exists on every detour we take in British Columbia. Detours that you can only experience by car.
By Car is a presentation of Caribou Auto Group. We encourage you to get off the beaten path, explore the wonders of your local BC community, and connect with folks who live there. Our 5 dealerships are here to make sure your vehicle is up to the challenge. Visit CaribouAutoGroup.com to contact one of our GM, Ford, or Toyota dealers. Thanks for listening.